Hey y'all, this is Inez Lehman with Keeping It Clean, and I'm going to use the smear technique today. I thought we'd paint a nice scene that Bob Ross has done before, similar to his, using my technique, and let's get started. First I start off with the Bob Ross black gesso and an acrylic brush that has soft bristles but not too stiff like the landscaping bristles and the wildlife bristles for the oil paints. So you want to make sure that's soft and can rinse out and not be damaged or frayed. This is a simple brush. I got it from Fine Touch, and you can buy them in a pack of 3. They come with a 3-inch, a 2-inch, and a 1-inch, and I'm just using the 1-inch just because I like that one. Get the lid open here and pour a little Bob Ross black gesso onto the palette, and I'm just making an outline. I'm going to paint this with just black acrylic and get my outline down. Do a mill scene. I've been doing a lot of mills and I just can't get it out of my mind that Bob Ross did such a good mill scene. I want to do one that good. So I'm going to do something similar to his. And you just want to put the acrylic right about here. I want a tree or something right about there. Sort of make that rounded. And just get your layout. This is just to get it on canvas. You get your idea on canvas. Now I'm going to have a mill right here with the water wheel and everything. And my mill is right about in there, maybe a little bigger if you like, if you have a bigger canvas. And this is just a 16 by 20. And I'm going to go across here, and there's my roof. And this is very similar to his technique. This is just like Bob Ross's wet on wet technique. If you're just catching up with Keeping It Clean, this is so you can get your idea onto canvas. You may have a great idea, a great picture, a great photo that you took, and you want to paint it. But you just get the acrylic on there and you just smear it on there. Now I have other videos of how to keep your brushes clean and how to clean them and properly care for them. And also a setup of how to have your brushes laid out for you. Always want to lay them out in an organized manner, that way you know which one you're grabbing. I'm just painting in the mill here, and I'm trying to keep my brush strokes in a certain direction where I know what I'm putting there. And this is just a nice little mill scene out in the country, nice little stream. Maybe you've been out toward Franklin County and where I live, somewhere out toward Belvedere, that have a Falls Mills where they used to make they still make all kinds of grain. And there's my mill. And I want a nice, I'm trying to put my brush strokes in a certain way that way I can keep up with where I'm at once I cover it with the wet on wet technique. Well, pretty much the wet on wet technique as I lay down the oils, a little liquid clear or liquid white, liquid black. I haven't come up with one for that yet, but I'm sure there's something out there, and some of y'all might have some really great ideas, and you may have an incredible design, and you just have this wonderful creative idea with what to do with liquid black or liquid opal. I sure love to see that. And let's see, over here, a few more trees, I think. Just lay down a few more trees. Rough little design. Now I'm going to be using some liquid clear as well as liquid white. I'm going to put my liquid white up here and the liquid clear down here. I'm just going to cover the black gesso with liquid clear does have a nice effect. And you can take these designs and do something yourself a little different. You can make liquid clear instead of liquid white, or liquid white instead of liquid clear, and it always turns out different. And these designs, I'm trying to keep them copyright, so if you could come up with one, and based on mine, you could sell it. But if you want to just hang one in your home, you can do exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just wanting to share painting with you. And it's fun to get your ideas up here on canvas, and it's really relaxing. Painting is just so soothing, and it's very nice just to feel like you've made something, you've created something. You created something beautiful. And just get out there and do a nature walk, find a nice little place to take a picture, and you can take a picture. Went to Falls Mills the other day. That was fun. That was a really fun one. I took some pictures of the falls. I didn't spend too much time out there, and you might have to worry about heights and things of that sort, because it is a very tall falls. They have a nice little vacation area if you really feel like going out there. I'd recommend it. For y'all braver people, you may want to even hike down to the base of the falls. It's a pretty good hike. I have bad knees though, so I can't hike too much anymore. I enjoyed it, but it really is kind of rough. So I'm just laying down the black gesso here. Just have some black gesso on my palette. Getting down a nice dark base, because I want to put the liquid clear up here. I'm going to vary it with different colors of oil paints. And I'm going to use some highlighting techniques. It's kind of a miracle when you get it on canvas, and then all of a sudden you see it coming together, and it just looks so nice. And it just, that moment when you see your design coming together and you're painting, and it's really rewarding. It's a very rewarding art form. I'm touching up the sides because painting framing is extremely expensive, and I like to keep it as inexpensive as possible while still getting good quality. And framing costs upwards of $75 to $125 for a painting this size, and if you do a larger one, it can cost upwards of $200s, $300s just for a frame. So why not paint the sides and just get a nice picture? It wraps around. You can lay it against the wall, have it like it is. Save you that $125 to $300, and that's all the liquid, the acrylic black gesso, and we will be back as soon as paint dries. Hey y'all, this is Inez Lehman back here again with Keeping It Clean. I was going to lay down some Bob Ross liquid white. Comes in a nice jar. You can get this at a lot of paint stores. You can get this at blick.com, or you can get it at bobross.com. They have all his supplies at bobross.com. You can find it a lot of places. Maybe even at your local art store, your favorite art store. I'm just laying down a thin coat of this liquid white just so that I can make the paint flow better. And it's a really quick technique, and it really gets it on canvas fast. It's very rewarding. Using the wet on wet technique that Bob Ross created, and this is the smear technique. I've already laid down my image, and I am just making the sky a liquid white here. We get all the edges. Make sure that you cover all of that. That way you don't have to worry about framing. Framing can be fairly expensive. And I hope y'all are having a good weekend. This is a little early for me, but I'm posting a video. Took some pictures this past week and it was very nice out. In the spring you can take pictures of lots of things. You can take pictures of young fawns, maybe at different woods type of places, forests. If you're lucky enough, you can get a picture of a fawn, but his mom is usually protecting him. He's got cute little spots though. About this time of year, they're starting to lose their spots, but they have them still a bit at this time of year. So about mid-April right now. And I've got the liquid white already laid down. I use a 2-inch Bob Ross, 1-inch Bob Ross landscaping brush. I like him. I like his products for a lot of reasons. I find it gives me good value. I keep his brushes longer than I keep a lot of other brushes. And I'm just opening this can just with the paint key. And now I'm going to lay down some liquid clear. You can get a paint key at any local hardware store. I think they're free too. So just set that lid aside. And grab a new clean 1-inch landscaping brush from Bob Ross. Just get a bit on the brush here. And don't forget to wipe off your liquid clear, or else your image will just slide down the canvas. And it just really doesn't look too good. The results you will not be happy with, so don't forget to wipe this part down. I did mess up and not wipe it down one time. I was painting an owl. My owl, his eyes sort of sagged down to his beak, so that's not. Let's make sure we wipe it off with a paper towel. But that's the reason I'll tell you little hints here and there and how to keep it clean and have a rewarding painting experience. I'm just covering the acrylic black, the Bob Ross Black Gesso, with liquid clear. Nice thin coat. You can overlap the liquid white a bit with the liquid clear, so don't worry too much about that. It actually helps fade in your image that you're going to put up here with the liquid white. Sort of fades it into the background. I like that effect. So just touching it up. If you just go around the sides of the top part up here where it connects with the liquid white, you can fade that into the background of the sky. And we'll just have a few trees back there. You can use different colors. You can even use purple for the background trees if you care to. You can use a bunch of different colors. There's no such thing, though, in painting as doing something wrong. You make a little mistake. That's not really a mistake. You can just kind of go with it, see where it takes you. That's actually how you come up with new ideas. Take you all kinds of different places. Maybe like a mill, like what we're going to do today. I'm just touching up the sides. And at the bottom. And just grab it with your thumb and your 4 fingers behind on the wood part of the canvas and just pull forward. Try not to pull forward too much on the bristles because it does flame paint around the room. Get on you, get on your glasses, get everywhere. So gentle with that brush. And there we are. That all laid down. I'll grab a paper towel here. I like the shop paper towel. It's just a really thick paper towel that's good quality. Won't make your hands dirty, and it will help you in what you need to do for cleaning up and moving things. I like Scott paper towels. Scott blue paper towels are good. I'm just wiping down the liquid clear where that is. And it also helps remove some of that excess liquid white, but don't remove it all, because you do want to keep some of that there. Helps to fade into the background. And just wiping off as much as I can. But most of it still does stay on the canvas, so you're not hindering your efforts there. Just wipe up on the side. Make sure you get the bottom. And finish with that part. Now, I'm gonna grab my palette and tell you what colors we're using today. All the different colors are right here. I'll try to show you the layout of my colors, that way I won't have to name them and y'all won't get lost too much. I've got ivory black right up there, that one right there. I've got the titanium white, and this is all Daler-Rowney Georgian oils. I just went with their color array. They have lots of different choices. This is your sap green, and you also have different sizes too of the tubes. You'll find that you use more colors than you more of certain colors. And this is a cobalt blue, and that one's right there. And we have two different shades of brown. I have burnt sienna. Oh, I've got the price tag on there. Burnt sienna. This is Daler-Rowney Georgian oils. And this is raw umber, a little darker, more opaque, less translucent than that one. And last color I have is cadmium yellow deep hue. And that one is right there. You want a fair amount of the cadmium yellow. So we've got the layout here. I'm going to do the sky. Go into some cobalt blue with that 1-inch Bob Ross brush that we used to put on the liquid white. That way you're not cleaning up too much. Try and use brushes as infrequently changing brushes as possible, but you still want to get the picture. You don't want it muddled. You want to keep your colors separate as much as you can, and try not to cake them up, because that's what I started doing when I first started painting. And it would all cake up on me, and I wouldn't have different colors too much. You want to watch that little habit. I've had that habit before, and it's hard to get away from. It's not an easy habit to get away from. It just cakes up, and then the colors just run together. So starting out, that's the best tip I can give you, is to change brushes more often. And I have a lot of brushes, a lot of Bob Ross brushes. It actually helps you to paint and be more satisfied with your results. And I always do cleanup at the end, unless you can figure out a way to do cleanup in the middle. But I have a video on how to keep it clean. Several videos of that, in fact. And the cleanup process for acrylics and for oils. How to dispose of those properly as well. And I've got some clouds that I've left up there in blank spots. And I'm just going to set down that brush, pick up another fresh 1-inch landscaping raw brush. I'm going to blend in my blank areas that I just left the spot where the white is. And I'm just making a cloud there. It's kind of a lazy way of making a cloud. Instead of putting white on the canvas, just take the white that's already there. And it works really good. Sometimes you may want to do it differently, different ways. And you want to just sort of fluff those up, round them up into the sky on a clockwise motion. And if you're left-handed, it may go the other way, counterclockwise. and give myself a little break from painting too much of the sky, because I really want to concentrate on this image that I've got in my mind, and seen Bob Ross do something like it, so I want to do something a lot like his today. You should be really happy with this painting today. I think it's kind of a little miracle and would have produce some really nice results. So I faded in my clouds, and excuse me, I want to go into some burnt sienna with just the same brush that I just used to fluff the clouds. Get it on both sides, just a little. And I'm gonna make some outlines of some trees way back there. Just a faded image. This is where that liquid white mixes with the liquid clear, and that fading really does tend to help. Maybe there's some trees right there as well. And I think that's good. So that's enough with that one. Okay, so now we're using another 1-inch Bob Ross landscaping brush. I'm gonna lay down some sap green. It's just clean and dry. And you wanna get it on both sides. Just load it side to side there. And lay in your tree outline. And you wanna sort of mix it with the liquid white and the burnt sienna a bit. We're gonna have a stream coming down through here, well, down through here I think, and gonna have some trees in the background. Got to sort of compose as you go. It's a little different. It takes a little getting used to, but once you start composing, you can really get all kinds of stuff on the canvas. Use new ideas, really make it work. And you want to use a color scheme, a brand of color that you enjoy. You want to find one with a lot of hues, different colors, different shades. You may find one that works best for you, that you like. I prefer the Daler-Rowney Georgian oil because it is just so very inexpensive, as well as has a lot of variety. I'm gonna have some trees right here too as well, and sort of mixing with the liquid white. That's exactly what you want though. Have a small spot down here, the sap green. Just laying in my image as I go. I'm not too sure if you can see this very well against the acrylic black, but your brush strokes from when you put on the image and the direction that you put on the image from the acrylic, it would really show you where to put different colors as well. Usually I use different colors where they are, but this time I'm using Bob Ross Black Gesso, just the black, because I really want to make a nice liquid clear effect that he has. He has a different effect, different ways, different types of liquids that he lays down. And there's my nice little stream right there, that's just a little blank spot. Comes down through here. And now I want to go into some raw umber, I believe that is. Yes, raw umber. And it's just the same brush. And I'm going to use this for the roof of the mill. So you want to get this in a nice straight line. Nice straight line of the roof. And you can touch it up with a detail brush if you care to. I'm just laying down a basic image, trying to do this for you real quick. What we'll do is we'll go over the roof again with some white and black mixed, sort of marbled, and that will have a very nice effect on the painting. Just laying that down, nice raw umber. And I have a little house, well, a little window up here at the top that I want to keep. So I'm just laying that down in a little triangle shape. Next, I'm going to go into some burnt sienna, just using the same brush. This is laying down your basic colors in oil, so it's all right to mix them a bit. But when you paint over, you want good separation of colors. And let's lay down that side of the mill. And just make it to where it is touching, at the base where the land is and where you've got your trees. Just to have a little foundation to sit on. And there is my mill, the bottom part of it. Just filling that in. A little burnt sienna. And I'll be painting the mill scene. I'll be painting that in a palette knife. So if you sort of get that effect, a palette knife is for creating, not destroying. It's the only knife that uses to create. Painting is all about creativity. And there's my nice little water wheel. Gotta have that. Lay down some more of the burnt sienna, and I have a portion sticking out right there. And these are the paddles right here that hold back the water of the stream so that it's forced into the mill. You want to kind of think of your design and how it does work. How to make it work. A little block here, a little brick block for the post to sit on, so where it can turn. Maybe another step. Maybe there's another block right there. You can mix with the green a bit. It's not too bad. It's all right. It's perfectly okay. Get your basic image using a landscaping fan, number 6 landscaping fan from Bob Ross. I want to go into some cobalt blue, excuse me, and just get that completely on the brush. Paint the stream, and then we can start highlighting these oils that we just laid down. It will look very nice once you get us some titanium white and maybe even a little black on the acrylic black, so that's a little different. But if you mix it with the titanium white, create some really nice effects, some marbled effect of the roof. Just laying that out there. There's my upper part of the stream. Don't forget the sides. A little more blue. Out of blue. When you put down your colors on your palettes, another little tip is you want to put down as little as you think you would need, because you can always get more. It's just like a canvas. You can always put more on, but try to add as little as possible of the paint. You can't get it back in the tube. So you can add more to your image. So just take it easy and enjoy and slow down. Just slow down and enjoy what you're doing. Really take your time with it. You can get all kinds of details. I'm trying to paint this a little fast for you, as little time as possible, but I'm slowing down to get the basic image laid out. Highlighting always has a good effect, so you want to try to highlight your painting where it needs. A little more blue, and I have just enough blue. That's unusual. Usually I have a little more or a little less. Just covering the bottom where the stream ends up. Perhaps that's a nice pond on further down there. Maybe you want to paint another painting and add another scene off to the side, maybe further on down. You can carry your effect throughout a wall. Nice little decorating idea there. And pick up my palette again. I would like a Bob Ross round brush. I'm just using a small round brush. You want to make sure your bristles are nice and soft. You just tap it into the cadmium yellow deep hue. Tapping it in there real good. And just adding some outlines of where your trees are. And I had to stop there for just a second. You want to add your rounded branches, and this pulls forward your image when you add the yellow on top of the sap green. Make the branches of your trees just fading off into the distance along with the burnt umber. You just sort of fluoresce onto the canvas. Maybe there's some darker areas. You don't want to kill all your darker areas. You want to have some lighter areas. There's some bushes perhaps right there. Nice little bush here too as well. Little outline. And pretty happy with that part. I'll set down the round brush, but I'm still going to use it some more. And I'm using a landscaping filbert from Bob Ross. Go into a little burnt raw umber and some titanium white. Add a little of that. A little more burnt umber. Raw umber, excuse me. And a nice little tree trunk here and there. Just appear back there behind the bushes. And sometimes they come out straight to the top. Little sticks and things sort of going by the way. I want a little more than that raw umber on my trees. That's better. It's a little too white for me. That's nice. Add a nice little branch to go there. Get a few branches and a few tree trunks. Then you go into and you use the Bob Ross script liner. You can get even more detailed. Go into that raw umber, a little titanium white. Raw umber. And just sort of roll it around. You don't have to thin it down, but you can if you like. If you've got too much paint on the canvas, it might stick better. And just wiggle in a few little sticks and things. Carry on your image. Should have a nice tree right there. You can go back over this. I'm going to go back over this with a little more of that cadmium yellow. You can add some sticks and things into your little bushes, and little twigs and hanging off here and there. Burnt umber right there. You can really make a lot of nice details and make it look real. Make it real to you. Enjoy what you're doing. And I'm going to get that round brush back, but I had the cadmium yellow on it. Put a little more cadmium yellow. I'm going to go over some of the trunks and look like it's showing through the leaves. Probably should have done that first, but catching that, you can probably do that as well. And it fades it back there, really pushes the image back. So go into some more cadmium yellow with the round brush, deep hue. And then got a small tree or a bush here. And you want to mix that in with the overlap it, I should say, with liquid white. And it just fades out the image, looks like the sunlight is coming through. I'm going to set this down and do the mill next. Get a palette knife. I'm just using a small Bob Ross palette knife. And use some whites just to bring out those browns that I made. And it could be marbled. You can marble it a little with some raw sienna or with some burnt sienna or some raw umber. And you just want to pull down on that house. Pull down on the mill as you get the titanium white. A nice straight line. And that straight across there, because we don't want a crooked mill. I'm just loading that onto the palette knife, pulling it out, a long straight line. And then I just cut across it. I'll show you that. Suppose I should have showed you that before. It's a little early. Haven't had enough coffee. And just pull it out flat and cut across. Get a little bit of paint on the end of the knife. And pull down. Scrape it a bit. Make that raw umber show through a bit more. And there's the roof, that small window. So I scrape that in. Be brave and scrape at it a little. There we are. Let's see that pretty good. Looks good. And add a little touch of burnt umber to the side of my roof. It's not standing out perfectly against the trees. You touch up here and there as you go. Still get that image on canvas that you're looking for to begin with. The acrylics and then the oils. You can do anything. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. Highlight, detail, see the way the different colors of paints flow. Really do some pretty neat things. I'm gonna go into some burnt sienna. Make a small portion of this mill right there. That nice little window. And it falls back there right a bit into the outline. And there we go. You don't want to use too much, but you want some of the titanium white on your palette knife. Just sort of pull it out and wipe it a couple of times. And I'll show you how to get in the image of the boards of the mill. And you just scrape to the side. If you feel like you need a little more white, wipe off the paint knife. Wipe off the palette knife. If you feel like you need a little more white, a little more highlighting, just wipe it off. Wipe off that burnt sienna. Pull out some more white. And just pull to the side. Add a little highlighting effect of burnt sienna behind there. Making the slats of the boards. It's an old mill, been around a while. It's really had a few years. Don't forget there's a water wheel right there. We're going to do that in just a moment. Oh, I like that little effect there. Pulling down as the slats of the boards. So I'm going to keep continuing to do that. You can find all different things if you make a mistake in painting or you do something different. just go with it. You really could use all the different kinds of stuff. Really be creative and say, oops, oh, oops, that worked. So, if it's an oops, that worked moment, then have that moment and carry it on. Just scrape straight down, making the slats of the boards. Little base there. And like straight down here. I'm going to leave that a little bit more shaded as it is away from the sun. But still scraping off that paint. And just sort of just add a little fading effect of the paint on the knife, the palette knife, just sort of fading off into the shadows. That nice mill. There's a lot of wheat there. There's a lot of cornmeal being made. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. A long time ago they used to use that just to ground the corn, ground the flour. They could make bread and cornbread. And I don't know if you've ever had cornbread, but it's very southern. Very southern tradition. Cornbread. Outline that wheel a bit more and just leave a spot there. I'm going to go into with the titanium white still on the knife somewhat, not just wiping it off a bit. Go into some burnt sienna, a little mixture of raw umber. I'm gonna make in some ground. Oh, almost forgot. I have my habit. Some people have a little habit, but you just want to take some titanium white and a number 6 landscaping fan from Bob Ross. I'm going to take some of that image and pull it down into the water, sort of splashing here and there, but pull some of it down into the water, have that reflection, sort of what you're trying to do there. Make a little effect of some rippling water splashing upward, going into the mill, going into the water wheel. Yeah. Put that up. There we are. Just bringing that to the side. Pull toward the side. And pull more of the water. Make a few more splashes. Fizzy, bubbling stream. A bubbling stream. Whatever that is. Yeah, that's a little Beverly Hillbillies for y'all. Got that area laid out. And when you start painting, you want to paint the background first and work toward the foreground, always working forward. And I've got that palette knife that I had some raw umber and some burnt sienna on, also with a background of titanium white. And just pull that out, make a little bank here and there, flatten it out, cut into the canvas really good. Little land be shown. There we are. I'm gonna add a little titanium white to that area. See where the water stops. And around to the side. Don't forget to carry your image to the side. Has a nice, it's a nice way of not having to frame your paintings. So getting that small round brush again, cadmium yellow deep hue. Just tapping it into the palette. And lay out your grass. Cover up the bottom of the mill. See where that is. Water going down there in the stream. Just make a little hill or two, maybe even a bush. A few little bushes. The edges pressing upward. And there's another bush right there. A little more cadmium yellow. Really make that one stand out a bit. That looks good. Some grass. Just highlighting the sap green that you've already laid down. Put that onto the side. Get some more cadmium yellow, and I want to highlight. I'm going to get mostly that cadmium yellow into the brush. Really get a lot of it on there. And highlight your little bushes. Let people see what you already laid down, the ideas that you had in your head. And that doesn't look too bad. So, just want to set that down and get a landscaping fan that you had with the liquid white, or the titanium white, excuse me. And go into the titanium white and just make this part of the stream right here. We're going to fill that in just a moment. It just needs to splash really good on there. It's a little cool here, literally side to side. Splashes here and there. Using some more raw umber on that small palette knife, just raw umber this time. It's a little darker toward your foreground. I want to pull out a small line of land, and this is a splashing part of the stream, so it doesn't have to reflect. You can try to make it reflect if you like in some places. If you have that idea, and in that case you would just pull down into the water with the image before you put on the land, the ground, and dirt in the bank. And sweep that image to the side if you're going to do that. It's not bad. You can do that too. And there we go. Okay. Add some more splashes of water with that landscaping fan. A little more titanium white. And some splashing along the bank. Just to blend in. Water goes over the bank. Maybe you have a different way of doing it. I'd like to see that way. And set that brush down. We're gonna make the water wheel now. Going into that brush that we had with burnt sienna. I just has burnt sienna on it. Mostly little sap green. And add some burnt sienna. and a little touch of titanium white. Touch of titanium white on one side, right there, but burnt sienna on both. Make that feel. You just take that brush and you just leave a little small space, go around in a circle. There's your outline of your water wheel. Make the little slats of the boards back there with the brush. I'll touch that up with the palette knife, I think. Pull to the side as the boards go up and around the wheel. Pull to the side right there where the water catches. We'll put some water on that so that you can see the water just pouring off the wheel. A little more titanium white, I think, on the middle. And we just make sure it goes all the way around. Bob Ross probably did this a little better. I'm doing my best. Have fun with it. Have a good time. Pull down on those slats and the boards. Palette knife. And you cut to the side a little, pull to the side. Adding a little titanium white here and there. And continue those boards. One more time with the landscaping brush. Landscaping with the double loaded burnt sienna and titanium white. And using the palette knife again, just pull that out, wipe it off a bit. Get a little titanium white and some, I'm gonna want some black this time. Some ivory black and the titanium white, just sort of marbled. And making a little post that sticks out to the side here. Goes straight through the water wheel, attaches to the wall of the mill. And maybe you want to highlight that roof a bit, get in some different shades of black mixed in. Usually looks pretty good too. And hold it aside, a little darker there. Make that better. A nice roof. Pull that to the side. Outline that. And we can make some slats in those woods. Slats. Coming across and pulling down. Maybe a nice little window. Add a little touch of black right there. Nice window. And just grab the landscaping fan, the number 6 landscaping fan. Get some titanium white. I'm gonna need some more blue. So if you have a brush that has a little more blue on it, you can still continue to use that. Lay out some water, just sort of splashing around in here. Little blue. Just little splashes as it goes down the water wheel. Further down until it lands in the stream. You can go ahead and get some more paint if you want to add the cobalt blue. I could have done that, but I'm trying to make my color stretch as much as possible. And just highlight it with some titanium white and make those little bigger splashes as you go down, as you go further on down. Splash brush down here at the bottom. Cover up a bit of that wheel at the bottom as well. Just cover that up in the stream. And highlight those bricks that hold up the mill wheel. The mill is very heavy. It just weighs tons and tons. Bricks that are support bricks. Those are the paddles that hold back the water right here. And a little brick. And you've about got to finish painting. We're almost done. It's taken a little while, but you get there. You can add more detail. You can do this in all different ways. You can take a painting and do it so many different ways. You can add different colors. You can add different scenery. You can use different techniques of getting the paint onto the canvas. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's not just this technique. There's no right way of getting a painting on a canvas. There are just all sorts of different ways. That's the top of that one. And that's the top of that brick right there. And one more time with the sap green and the round brush. Take some cadmium yellow. Touch up around the bottom. Adding some highlights. Maybe there's a nice bush right there. A nice little bush right in front of the boards. In front of the bricks, that is. And make a nice bush. And down the creek side. And don't forget the bottom. Gotta paint the bottom too. Got done. And I would just touch up. Try and get as much of that corner as you can, make it wrap around and look really nice. Just get that little bit of grass, highlighting here and there, and there we are. I'm going to finish painting. Hope you had a good time. This is Inez Lehman, Keeping It Clean, and y'all have a good day. Cheers.